Hey everyone, so welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I thought I'd give this thing a go. I've always wanted to be better at speaking on camera. Presenting and maybe even one day commentating is something that I'd really like to do. So I figure YouTube videos might be a really good way of like practicing, getting a little bit better at speaking. I apologise now, there might be some rambling. I do fall over my words quite a bit. But yeah, so it might be half interesting for you guys. There's not much else to do. We're in lockdown, so might as well try something new. This first video is probably going to be just like maybe a little bit about me. It's just to sort of practice putting a video together, I guess. So I'll probably just go through like a bit of who I am, why you might want to ever continue watching this channel and yeah, what I've done in the past, I guess. So let's start from the top. So yeah, a little bit about me then. I currently work for the British Drift Championship. I sit in the tower with the judges and do the scoring systems, the live stream, bit of administration, things like that. I'll probably go into a bit more detail on a later video when we're finally allowed out to play and actually have a round one of BDC this year. I'll probably do a bit of behind the scenes about what happens at BDC that you might not necessarily see from a spectator point of view. But I guess first off, a little bit about me. I found drifting in 2005. I had my first passenger lap at a car show and I was just hooked straight away, as everybody is. As soon as they get a taste of drifting, they normally don't leave it. So yeah, in 2006 I found the Driftworks forum where there's a lot of keyboard warriors chatting a lot of crap, but it did actually teach me quite a lot, and it got me into drifting, which I'm really grateful for. In 2006 I bought my first drift car, which was a Volvo 340, just a little 1.7 engine. It did the job at the time. I just basically did donuts in it for like a year, which was great fun at the time. I didn't know any better. In 2006 I also found the British Drift Championship, which was in its first year of the championship, I guess, and owned by Mark Buckle Sweeps at the time. And I guess I kind of got roped in on the first time I ever went there for some reason, holding scoreboards up at Teesside. So that was a good introduction to drifting. I met a lot of people there, and that kind of started my journey with the BDC. And I continued to work for the BDC for quite a number of years till about 2011, I think, when I actually sort of stopped working for them then. So after I sold the Volvo, I had it about a year, I think. So in 2007 I went on and bought my first turbo car, which didn't end well. I bought a Nissan S12 Silvia, and I used to go around everywhere. I was at Santapod all the time, Drift What You Brung days, and I did go down to Essex quite a lot, and the streeto scene down there was quite big at the time. So I was, yeah, naughty, shouldn't do it, but the nature is that most people did back in the day. Yeah, drifted on the streets and just sort of had fun, I guess. So I had the S12 for a year, and then 2008 came and I changed again. I bought a Volvo 740. It had a 2.3 red block turbo engine in, and it was loads of fun. Bit of a weird car for like a 19-year-old, 20-year-old woman to be driving around in. Decked on the floor with a welded diff. I sure did get some looks. But anyway, it was a really fun car while I had it. And I actually got my first taste of competition in the Volvo 740. I did King of the Ring at Essex Arena, which was interesting to say the least. But I didn't crash, I didn't cause any crashes, so it was all good. So 2009 came and I'd got rid of the 740. I moved to the Isle of Man for a little while, so I couldn't take it with me. Instead, I saved up my pennies and bought my first S14, which was a car I'd wanted for quite a while, so I was really excited. I just sort of did the normal modifications with that in 2009. 2010 came and I went for my British Drift Championship licence at Donington. It was the second time actually that I got my license. The first one we will skip over that and not talk about. It was one of the worst drift days of my life. Anyway, so I got my license at Donington and was all set for doing the BDC, and then kind of realised back then I didn't earn a lot of money and I couldn't actually afford to do it. So I just kept having fun, going to practice days, trying to get better and better, building my car up. And I continued working for the BDC in that time. Until 2012, when I could afford to do at least a couple of rounds of BDC. So I did 2 rounds in 2012, one at Norfolk, I think it was, and the other one at Teesside. I also did the team event at Teesside, which was really great fun, apart from getting a cone stuck under my car and ripping a fuel line out, which that was less so, but nevertheless, it was a good experience. But I could only do 2 rounds that year. It's really expensive. As anybody knows, drifting is mega expensive. It's usually what holds everybody back. So that was my last year competing in the BDC in 2012. So also in 2012, I got the chance to go to Portugal and witness the awesome event that was the KD Drift Championship, I think it was called at the time. My memory's not very good. Which was an amazing experience, sitting on the side of a track with people skimming the walls at like 2 in the morning. It was a fantastic experience. Just one of many now, I guess. But also 2012, I sold the S14, realised I couldn't really afford to run it, so I wanted something a bit cheaper that could get more seat time in. And I ended up getting E30 325. Absolutely loved that car. It was so much fun. You could just sort of drift all day. It was fantastic. And I just really did practice days in the E30 and just had fun and chilled out. Because in 2013, I actually sort of quit work, sold everything I owned and moved to Derby, of all places, to do a degree in motorsport engineering. So that kind of put a dampener on the drifting for at least 3 years. But before I went to uni, I did actually get the opportunity to go around Europe with Team Falcon and James Dean at the time, and that was a fantastic experience. We went to Nürburgring and Hockenheim, and I was just really helping out with Falcon, doing corporate demos, things like that. So that was another fantastic experience that I'll never forget, and watching James Dean fly around the little Alpine circuit at Nürburgring was pretty cool. Ooh, someone's home. So skipping forward a little bit to 2014 was when I got my Skyline IR32. Adam, my other half, actually owned it first, and he didn't really want it anymore, and I absolutely loved it. So decided that I would spend all of my student loan money on a Skyline. What better purchase when you're at university? So yeah, 2014 I bought the Skyline and kind of spent 2014, 15 and 16 really just having fun, going drifting, going doing practice days, things like that, which was yeah, really nice, just to chill out, not have any pressure on me. And then I decided that I wanted to put all the pressure on me, so I was going to go back to competing again. At the time, in 2017 it was, the British Drift Championship rules were that if you'd not had a license for if you'd not competed, for 2 years, you couldn't go back into the BDC. So instead I went to Drift Cup. And in 2017 I did 2 rounds, I think, 2 rounds of Drift Cup, which was a fantastic experience. I had a great time. At the time I was just running a stock RB25, not been messing around with it or anything. So it was nice and reliable that year anyway. Yeah, and then 2018 came and I thought I would sort of step it up a little bit, do a little bit extra, because I was really enjoying competing at the time. So in the off season I did a load of upgrades to the car, mostly the way it looked, to be honest. Sort of painted it green, mint green, like a Fiat green colour, and put pink flowers all over the side of it, because, you know, what else would you do if you're going to compete and you're a girl? put pink on your car. Anyway, I absolutely love the car. It looked fantastic, and I had a great time. And in 2018 I did a full season of Drift Cup, which was fantastic. I got a couple of good results, but mostly I just broke the car a lot. And it ended up sort of getting a little bit out of hand with the upgrades and things. And by the end of the year, I ended up blowing up the RB25, because, you know, you turn the boost up, RBs blow up. This is what happens. It's the circle of life. So yeah, at the end of 2018 I blew my R32 up, and Adam luckily sort of managed to lend me his R33 for the last round of Drift Cup at Driftland. That was a bit of an animal, bit of getting used to. Jumping straight into like a 500 brake car with semi-slicks on the back was a learning curve. So probably didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do, but it was fun nonetheless. So I guess that brings us on to 2019, last year, where it wasn't really my year, to be honest. I was playing with the idea of what engines to put in the Skyline for a while. Do I just chuck another standard RB25 in? Do I upgrade the RB25? Do I go forged RB25? Weighed up a lot of different options, and yes, I ended up making the wrong decision. Of course I did, because that's what people do. Especially when it comes to RBs and Skylines, they make the wrong decision. So bit of a learning curve for me. I ended up buying a fully forged, all singing, dancing RB25 / RB26. It had so much work done. Chucked that in the car. It was running like 700 horsepower in the previous car it was in. So I thought, yeah, I thought it had been looked after and thought it was all going to be sound. Chucked it in my car, and it blew up on the dyno. So by that point I was quite far in money wise. Tried sort of fixing it myself, didn't really work, to be honest. That's part of this sort of YouTube video. I'm going to show you like the good sides and the bad sides. So the bad side was I was a bit of a dick. I made a load of wrong decisions, and then I realised that I couldn't afford to keep making wrong decisions anymore. So I ended up calling it quits with the Skyline. I broke the car down, sold it for bits, and so that left me sort of late 2019 is now with its new owner. And I decided that I wanted to maybe just go back to fun with drifting again. I've not really drifted much, to be honest. So now I've bought a 350Z, which I'm in now. We've also got another car, which is Adam's practice car. It's a Z3, but it's fully caged up and everything. It's only got a 2.8 engine in it, but it's more than enough to have fun and maybe try and do a little competition. Who knows? I can't stay away, can I? Clearly. So that's the plan going forward. Also at the back end of 2019 I had a fantastic opportunity. Tessa Whittock, one of my friends, I've known her for quite a long time. She sort of drives for Monster, and she does a lot of promo stuff, a lot of different driving, stunt shows, things like that. She invited me to go to Saudi Arabia with her and two other female drivers, Ames Hill and Gina Walker. So us four, we got on a plane, went to Saudi Arabia, met Terry Grant Stunts out there, and we drove in the Terry Grant Stunt Show for 350Zs, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was amazing. Getting to drift in front of, you know, the King of Saudi Arabia was absolutely insane. Very stressful actually as well. But an amazing experience, and to be honest I think I'll probably do like a whole video at some point on the Saudi trip, because it was pretty insane. It was pretty crazy, so we'll pick that up at a later date. So I guess that's a bit about me. That's my history. Sorry if I've bored you. Well done to anybody who's still actually watching. I promise these videos will get better and better, and I'll do more than just sit in my car and talk to you at some point. I'll actually, you know, get working on the 350Z, and maybe Adam, my other half's actually got a BMW Z4 with an LS in it. So at some point, if he lets me, I will do like a little walk round of the Z4 and show you everything to do with that. It's pretty all singing, dancing. It's pretty good to look at, pretty good to watch drifting as well. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate, obviously, the normal like, comment, subscribe. Would really like it if I actually got just one person subscribe to this channel, but if it's more, then fantastic. Thank you again. See you later.